We're going to what is for me the most anticipated restaurant opening of the whole year.
But I can guarantee you that this restaurant is going to be on every top 10 list in the city. Look how soft it is. It just falls apart.
You sure it's good?
I think so.
I hope so. Okay.
Today we're at Antilia. I'm not really familiar with Latin American cuisine, so I was really excited to try. We started off with this foie gras bite with peach compote. I'm not huge on foie gras, so my opinion probably matters less. It was decent, and I felt the peach compote was nice, but a dish that resonated a little bit more with me was this swordfish ceviche. I find at times ceviches can be like way too sour, but I felt this one was pretty well balanced. As usual, there's a lot of acidity in there, but it had ginger in there, which gave it a little bit more of a spice kicked, contrast everything else. On top of that, the fish itself had really good flavors. Next, we had this really refreshing salad. There's more things in here than I can remember, but it was fresh. You get the acidity, but the cheese on top gives it that like savoriness to balance everything out. And as they're bringing out this next dish, I was like slapped in the face by the corn aroma. I don't know the name of this dish, but it's in this like tortilla looking thing, just so fragrant from the corn. And inside is like mushrooms, get some cheese. I'm a sucker for mushrooms, so this was like definitely up my alley. At times I had bites without the cheese where it felt a little bit dense, but in the bites where I had everything, I felt it was a lot more well balanced. This next one apparently is one of their staples. It's a crisp pork belly laying on top of some greens. When I had the pork belly on its own, the skin was very crisp, the meat was tender, but it did feel a little bit too salty. But when I paired it with the greens that had a little bit of sourness to it, I felt like it just worked a lot better. The last savory dish we had here was the duck breast. My goldfish memory can't recall everything they did to the duck, but I know there's some sort of like aging process, and the duck had really complex flavors, and it's just brought to another level when eaten with the mole that gives it that aftertaste of spice. The only thing for me was that it felt a little chewy at times. Now accompanying this duck was this other vegetable, again goldfish memory, so I can't remember the name, but biting into it was like an explosion of like water. Super refreshing and a great palate cleanser between duck bites. For dessert, we had this peach sorbet. If I'm being honest, it tasted like eating ice with just some like peach jam. Over here, we have a dessert taco that apparently incorporates a Latin American candy. The best way to describe the flavors is kind of like salted caramel popcorn. It was okay, but I didn't love it. Overall, I think it was a good meal. Is it something I'm going to be thinking about for a long time? Not really, but the vibes here are great. Today, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10 on the worth the wait scale, but I'm excited to see how they evolve their menu over time.